Hey guys, Bella here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about my 2025 body goals. So in my life I have mainly been focused on losing weight for a decade, and now that I have lost a significant portion of weight from being on Ozempic, I've decided to kind of switch gears a little bit and try to focus on doing a body recomposition journey this year in 2025. So to me, body composition is about building muscle, toning the body, and kind of working on some areas that I am self-conscious about. Personally, for me right now, I have a little bit of loose skin, nothing crazy. I've lost 42 pounds, so I went from being in the 180s to being in the 140s. I've dropped about 4 pants sizes. Pretty much every shirt that I have is now really loose on me, so I really need to try to figure out what size I actually am and try to find clothes that fit my new body. So for strength training, I've been doing really light weights and just focusing on high repetition. And so I would really like to get to the point where I feel more confident about my arms. You can see I've got some like skin that hangs here. Another area that I'm self-conscious about now is my neck, and it definitely looks better than it used to look, but I almost feel like I have a little bit of skin issues here because of all the weight that I've lost. I've been putting on a lot of moisturizer, and I've actually been doing some like neck exercises, which is a weird thing to do, but just building strength and muscle in my overall like traps and stuff, I feel like it's going to help with that loose skin and be able to tighten that a little bit more. Now, I do think losing the weight in a long period of time has helped with the drastic nature of changing my body, because it took me about 2.5 years to get about 40 to 45 pounds off. Right now I'm hovering anywhere between 145 to 150, and personally I haven't seen that number since I was like 21, and so I'm really happy with where I'm at. I feel quite confident in my body's ability to do things, and it is so much easier to move around now. But one of the things that I've noticed is that I don't have anywhere near the strength that I used to have. I used to be really into weight training when I was younger, and I've noticed now that even just simple movements like doing curls is really painful for me. I've got a back injury that I have from a car accident that has really made things difficult, but I am determined to be able to kind of build my body back up this year, and I'm hoping that focusing on strength training and body recomposition will give me something to think about. So one thing I wanted to do was see about getting a DEXA scan. If you're not familiar with this is an in-depth scan that will show you your percent body fat, your muscle, and things about your body that you can't normally get just from a scale. I'm not sure where to get this at, and if anyone knows and is in Alabama, please let me know. I'm like an hour and a half away from Huntsville, so I feel like I could maybe get it there. If it was around, I'm gonna say like under $500, I would do it, but that's something I've really wanted to do, is get a DEXA scan to kind of see where exactly I'm at. I know that in terms of just body fat, I feel like I've lost a significant amount, but I also don't feel as strong, so I know that I need to put on a significant amount of muscle as well. In terms of my calories, I'm really hovering around 1,700 to 2,000 per day right now, and I'm still losing weight just because of how active I am. I typically will work out at least 2 to 3 times a week. These aren't crazy workouts. To me, a workout could be anything from going to walk my dog to doing a little YouTube video in my room. I've really leaned heavily on the YouTube videos this winter. I have not wanted to leave the house. I've got a YMCA membership that I really need to utilize more. I have access to probably over 50 classes a week that I could attend with my YMCA membership. One of the classes that I really loved was Pilates because it focused on just building core strength. I've also done some pelvic floor therapy exercises just to strengthen my overall core, because I feel like sitting in a chair all day has not been good for that area of my body, and especially when I think about wanting to go forward in life and maybe have children, I just want to get as strong as possible before I attempt to be pregnant, because I know that that's going to be a really tough journey to have in a body that is not optimized. And so that is a big motivator for me, is to carry like a healthy pregnancy and to be able to just like feel good while I'm doing it and not feel miserable. Obviously, nobody knows how they're gonna feel during that time. I feel like if I can get myself in really good shape, then I can feel a lot more confident about going through that situation and being able to kind of navigate the ups and downs of it. Currently, I'm doing a lot of body weight exercises. I do a little bit of weight training with dumbbells, but I like to do squats. I like to do planks, burpees, all of those things that are just typical workout moves. I do focus heavily on my core and my back because I have a back injury. I've noticed a big difference in my form just being able to keep my core straight whenever I'm doing these workouts. Before, it would seem like I was like slouching and hunched over and stuff, so I've noticed a little bit of improvement there. For me personally, I feel like my stamina is quite good, but my overall ability to kind of have strength for a long period of time is not the best. So I'm okay when it comes to like cardio, but strength training, I feel like I get shaky, my muscles start to weaken, and I just am not able to hold myself up. So that's something that I really want to work on in 2025. One thing that I'm going to start doing is taking more progress photos. I have not taken a lot of pictures of myself, and it maybe seems like I have for YouTube, but typically I can't even find pictures for a thumbnail on my phone. I don't know why this is, because I know before I would take a lot of pictures of myself, but for some reason I just don't feel as comfortable doing it now. I don't know if it's because I feel like I look so different, or because I don't know how to pose, or because I'm 30 now, or any of those reasons, but I want to take more pictures of myself. I want to know like where I'm at so I can see exactly where I'm going, and so I feel like taking progress photos will be a big part of that. Now I also need to take measurements because I haven't actually measured my waist, and I really wish I would have. So if you're starting a weight loss journey, go take your measurements today, because that is something that I wish I would have done. I know I've lost a ton of inches around my waist, but I don't know how much, and so it would really be nice to have those numbers. So I'm not going to talk about strength training without talking about food. So in terms of what I'm eating, I eat a lot of like dairy. I don't know how to say it other than that. I eat a lot of yogurt, a lot of cheese, a lot of things like that, and so I think I need to up my protein for sure. I have access to protein. I can afford protein, and I even have tons of protein options, but for some reason my mind just doesn't go there when I get ready to eat. I think being on this ADHD medicine has also made it to where food is not just doing it for me anymore, and so I'm kind of having to force myself to eat at times. Like right now I'm eating this little biscotti, and it's like got nuts in it, and it's 90 calories and 3 grams of protein. So not a ton of protein, but I just want to make sure that everything I'm eating is contributing to my protein goal. Right now I have my protein set at like 75 grams a day, and I'm not even meeting that some days. So I feel like maybe trying to meet my 75 and maybe upping it to about 100 grams of protein a day would be good for me. I know personally I feel better, and I feel like my energy is more sustained when I do eat that protein instead of eating like sugar foods. I want my meals to be as fresh as possible. Like for instance, this week we cooked turkey burgers that we had with cheese, and that was something that kept me full for a really long time. So I think maybe meal prepping once a week would be something that would definitely help me in terms of just having food that's readily available, because it seems like if it's not already prepared, I will just go for the easy thing. I'm also really big into gardening, and so it's really cold right here. We're actually in the teens in Alabama, and so I have not been able to garden, but I do have a couple of indoor gardening things, like I'm growing sprouts in a jar, and just having access to those fresh foods is really important for me. I also spend a lot of energy and a lot of muscle in my garden, just moving dirt, moving things around, picking up my yard, just going back and forth to Lowe's to get things. I absolutely feel like my gardening is a huge way to build my strength in 2025. I do plan on having like a bigger garden this year, and I feel like that's every gardener every year. They're like, it's gonna be bigger and better than ever, but I really do think that because I've absolutely gotten so much gardening stuff that I'm already prepared with, that I think it's going to be a great way to kind of build strength this year. So I want to keep it simple. So I think maybe one thing I could do is focus more on my daily step goal. I will say I've let this lapse quite a bit. I know my steps used to be around 7,000 per day, but I feel like in the winter they're more like 4,000 a day, especially working from home. It's just not something that I really do a lot of walking, and I do think that I need to work on that, whether that be going to the gym and just getting on the treadmill, or taking my dog for a quick walk around the neighborhood. It is cold, but I do have the clothes for it. Like I've got everything I need, so I could do it. It's just a matter of getting to do it and making it a priority. I'm so thankful for the body that I have and the body that has got me to this point. I want to say that if you are struggling with body image issues after you've lost weight, that is totally normal. I actually sometimes feel worse in this body than I felt in my fat body. I don't know why that is. I think there's a lot of fear about, like what I look like now and how that compares to how I looked before. I definitely feel like I'm treated differently. And so after being on Ozempic for this length of time, you do start to have some mental things that pop up, like, well, what if I gain the weight back? And I've got a video about that, like my fear around gaining weight back. But I've really got to look towards the future and towards my current goals. And for me, that is all about just getting stronger and getting better. I really have some big trips planned for this year that I want to be able to do my best with. A lot of the trips I want to do this year involve physical activity, and so just having that strength and that ability is something that is going to be vital to me. You lose muscle every year that you're alive, and so just trying to build that muscle now is very important. So one way that I stay motivated is I journal pretty much every week, but I also set up my workout goals in my journal for the month. So what that means is I have a set number of days that I'm going to do each workout. So for me, I try to do a set number of home workouts. I have a set number of times that I want to go to my gym, and then I have a set number of classes that I'm going to take, or a number of times that I plan on walking my dog. For me, that just helps me to have a value that I'm working towards, like in numbers. So I might say, okay, I'm going to make a dedicated effort to go to the gym 4 times this month, which to a lot of people doesn't sound like very much, but if I go 4 times a month on average once a week, that to me represents consistency. And so that's something that I have to build up. Like any other muscle, it's just something that I'm going to have to work on. Typically when I see people at my gym who are in good shape, they are making an effort to build strength. A lot of times I'll see a 70 or 80-year-old person on a weight machine just doing resistance training. And so I feel like just those resistance training moves, they stretch you out, they build up your muscle and stamina, and so strength training needs to be the theme for me for 2025. I've got to get to the point where I feel like I'm strong again. It's almost metaphorical in that I want to be mentally and physically strong. I feel more mentally strong than ever right now. Like I feel so confident in what I'm doing. I feel like I'm a good version of me. I'm still working towards like evolving, but at the same time, I feel more content with who I am. And I think that a big part of that is not feeling so uncomfortable in my body. And so one way that I think that I could get better with that is to see my body tone up and change. You can't spot reduce fat, but you can definitely tone areas just by working out and building muscle. I know that this particular area will look better because I've seen it look toned before and I know what that looks like. I am starting to see more definition in my stomach muscles, and I feel like a big part of that is just continuing to do daily stretches. And so that's something that I want to continue with as well, just making time every day to just like move my body, move my neck, pop everything, and make sure that I don't lose mobility. So signs of progress for me would mean that I'm able to move up with the weights that I'm using. Currently, I'm using anywhere between 3 to 8 pound weights to do resistance training. So if I've started to feel like those weights were lighter, that would be a sign of progress. Another sign of progress for me would be increasing the ability to hold certain positions, such as like a plank or a squat. Also, physical changes would be a sign of progress for me, which is why I think it's so important now for me to go and take those pictures. Although I don't necessarily want to, I've noticed that whenever I can see a side-by-side comparison, I can see that huge difference that has taken place. And so I just want to make sure that I'm giving myself all of the information that I can. If you are interested in compounded semaglutide or Ozempic, you can check the links in my bio. I'm currently using a telehealth company called Fridays to get my medication. The company charges $249 a month for semaglutide. If you use code BELLA, you will get $100 off of your first month through February. Continue to use code BELLA past that date and you will still get some form of discount, but it may not be the full $100. So take advantage of that if you are seeing this video in February. My meds are shipped straight to my door. Does not matter how high of a dose you're on. Like right now, I'm on the max dose that you can be on of semaglutide, and I still pay $249 every single month. So that's something that I'm continuing to be on as long as it benefits me. I can see no issues with it, and I feel like it helps helps me in terms of just keeping my appetite down and sustaining the level of weight loss that I currently have. So for me, 2025 is going to be about building strength. That has to be my priority this year. I know that in past years I've really focused on different things, but for me this needs to be like my primary focus. I am still working heavily on my business stuff and I'm working on just personal growth, but I think that in terms of my body's abilities, this is not going to get any easier the older that I get, and so I need to make this my 2025 overarching goal. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. You can subscribe for more. I have a playlist of all of my Ozempic videos here as well. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care, and I will see you next time.